Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Vinyl Community Guncles. We're doing like album reviews now. We're doing like artist rankings now, and of course, we're still doing the tops and bottoms of years. In fact, we've just so you know what's coming up, we're going to review later on this week the album from the Cardigans called Gran Turismo. We're also next week going to be doing an artist ranking of Pretenders albums. We'll each be presenting our top five, and then we'll do the year 1968 after that. So that's our, and then we're going live, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we got a live show coming up
24th
on the 24th.
Yeah.
So that'll be all kinds of fun.
Lots of excitement.
But today it's all about the year 1988 and our tops and bottoms from that year. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. I am Robert Fitton, along with Mike from Hubtunes, Richard from Calvin Wazoo, and Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora. Before we get started, though, I have a question for Craig regarding our 1993 show.
Yeah.
And my question is...
What is love?
Oh, God. Wait, what is it?
No.
Oh, I was getting into it, and
I asked if people wanted to dance, but I guess not. I didn't even get to the funky chicken.
I don't dance.
Yeah, you'll have to see our 1993 video to get the... as long as this one's still up, we probably just tanked this one with the copyright for that. But anyway,
we're probably in trouble.
1988 tops and bottoms. Craig is doing top singles, and he is first.
I am first. So I have, I thought there was a lot of great stuff in 88. And so I have 15 honorable mentions. And I have actually, so I don't really have like a lot of the singles per se, but I have the albums that the singles were on. So I know Robert likes it when we show stuff because then that's less stuff he has to find for pictures. So Ministry with Stigmata, which is just, it's so hard, and I just love it.
It's their best.
I was needing some Stigmata this week, and so like I told you guys, I do the playlist.
It's none of our business.
Yeah. I not in that way. I needed some very heavy music, and so that was just perfect. Then also from their album Nude, this is Dead or Alive. The single is Turn Around and Count to 10.
Wow. What's going to happen at 10?
I don't know. But, in Drama Club, me and the twins, Cindy and Sandy, did, because you had to, at the end of the year was a big deal. We got to do music videos. And we did our music video to Turn Around and Count to 10. It's terrible. I'm in all black. I have a black turtleneck. It's terrible. I have it somewhere. Maybe I'll share it one day. It's terrible. Of course,
How is it?
It's terrible. But I was like 16 or 15.
Okay.
I don't know. I was little. Okay, Primitives, Crash. Here we go. Way too fast. Don't slow down. You're gonna crash. I love Primitives. They're kind of underrated. Kind of a lot. Yeah, they're really great. I went to a party last Saturday night. I didn't get laid. I got in a fight. Oh no, it ain't no big thing. Lita fucking Ford with "Kiss Me Deadly."
That is one of the best opening lines of any song.
Yes, it is so good. And look at her. She's got like her machine gun thing back. Like, look at this. Look, she's like, I don't need no fucking runaways. Look at me.
I heard that whole album this week.
I just listened to the single. I should have listened to it. But I have not played it in a really long time.
The singles, that "Kiss Me Deadly" is definitely the standout.
Yeah. Close my eyes forever. But okay, Ofra Haza with Galbi. I don't have that. Also, Talking Heads, Nothing But Flowers. Interesting, we just talked about them.
That's a very clever song.
Melissa Etheridge, this was her debut that came out that year, and I actually like both the singles, which is Like the Way I Do and Bring Me Some Water. This was the song that started it all for me for her. It was the first time I ever heard her. I remember the videos. She's in a bubble bath. And that is the just Australian pop princess. She's perfect. And that's Kylie Minogue with I Should Be So Lucky. And she's way underrated. And I think she competes with Madonna pretty well. OMD, they released this greatest hits that year, and the single for this compilation was Dreaming. Cinderella, don't know what you got till it's gone. Cinderella.
That's like one of the best power ballads ever.
So good. And we cannot forget Vixen with The Edge of a Broken Heart.
I was hoping somebody would say that. That's one of the top songs of 1988, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Vixen was, and then they just sadly disappeared, and then they hated each other, and they did a bands reunited thing. They didn't like each other. Pixies, Gigantic. Kim is singing lead vocals on that, right? That's Kim Deal, right? Then we have Samantha Fox with Love House. That might be my favorite Samantha Fox song. Love in my house for you.
From Sex and the City, Samantha Fox?
No. That's Samantha.
Touch me now.
Samantha
Fox.
Jones, right? Samantha Jones is Sex and the City.
Okay.
There was another Samantha Fox though. She was like a porn actress.
That was this Samantha Fox.
She was a topless.
No, she just did topless. Yeah,
there was
porn,
a literal porn.
There was. It was. Probably more than one.
Two X's or three X's on the Fox, I think. Yeah.
Pussy. When in Rome, The Promise. One hit wonder. But I loved that album. They only had one album, and then the last honorable mention from their album, The Innocents, Erasure, was Ship of Fools.
That's such a great song.
Now we're into the top 10. My favorite 10 songs of 1988. And I think they're brilliant. Of course, because they're my top. So at number 10, I used to have this album and then I was stupid and sold it. And now I can't find it for like under $60. Living Color with the Cult of Personality.
Yeah.
I'm the Cult of.
It's a very, very expensive record.
I got it for like $3 back in the day. Yeah. And then I was like, I don't want. And then now I'm just desperately, and the album after that, because I also love Ruse Its Ugly Head, which is.
I completely forgot about Living Color until we were, getting ready for this.
So good. And that song.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
So crazy and different you look at them and you wouldn't think that they would do the style of music that they did. And I that's what I thought was so brilliant about them.
Co-produced by Mick Jagger.
Really?
Yeah.
They also
everything fit in.
They opened for the Stones on that tour.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Number 9, The Church with Under the Milky Way. Such a pretty song, such a beautiful song. Another one. I had it's a great album. I was stupid and traded it. Now I can't find it for a reasonable price.
Yeah, Intervention did a repress of it, but even those, if you don't, they're expensive.
Yeah, their reissue is like
it's going to be
50 to $60. Yeah, and I'm like, why did I get rid of that? Number 8, Depeche Mode with Little 15. Oh, so good. Number 7. Okay. Book of Love with Pretty Boys and Pretty Girls. When I'm with pretty boys, I dream of pretty girls. I just love them so much.
I don't.
Look at this. I don't.
Yeah. Book of Love.
What? You don't love Book of Love?
I've never heard of Pretty Girls.
Well, I don't dream of pretty, but that's a lyric.
Pretty
and it's
boys.
I don't think I ever dreamt about pretty girls.
When I dream of pretty boys, I dream of pretty girls. So, let's see. Almost. Well, there's a couple good songs on this album, but So Sexy and Love Sexy, Alphabet Street I loved that song, and then that rapping girl.
I was gonna say you have to have the album version with the rap in it.
Yeah,
move your body like a horny pony.
Yeah,
would or something.
like a horny pony would. Now run and tell your mom about that.
And boy, you're gonna tell your pop about this.
I'm going. Yeah, what? Who is that? Does it say? I wonder.
Is it Cat somebody or the cat?
I mean, it might be a kitty cat, but I don't know if I was gonna look it up and then I totally forgot about it because I think she did.
Yeah, because he's like, Cat, we need you to rap. Hey, Cat, we need you to rap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very important.
Writing is really like it's all in cursive. It's kind of hard to read. It doesn't.
Yeah, and the CD for that, there are certain versions of this CD where it's all just one track. Yeah, that's the one I have. Can you imagine? Oh, wow. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
because all you want to hear is Alphabet Street, so you've got to all the way through track one to get to it.
Yeah, I remember when I got it on CD. I obviously don't have the CD anymore, and I was like, "What the hell?" Then I forgot about it, and later downloaded it, and it was one track, and I was like, "What is this about? This is not right." Let's see, we're at number 5. I mean, because if you don't got no Mojo Nixon, then your place could use some fixing.
Oh, no.
You and me, my punk rock girl, we're going to have us a baby. We're going to name him Minnie Pearl.
No.
Yes. Punk rock girl, Dead Milkman, thank you very much. Yes. You take your no and go somewhere else with it. No. All right, number 4, Sade with Paradise. Oh, that's so good. I'm yours, you're mine, like paradise. Number 3. I don't know if I can really show this album cover, but it's kind of a tie. A quick Jane's Addiction with Jane Says and Mountain Song.
Yeah.
So good. This whole record is just brilliant. And number 2. This song makes me so very happy, and it almost was number 1, but I kept going back and forth, and I feel like number 1 is number 1. But anyways, I was walking down Fifth Avenue, and Balloon Man came right up to me. Yes, Robin Hitchcock and the Egyptians with Balloon Man Blew Up in My Hand. And this album is brilliant.
It's a great record.
It's so good.
I should probably get that.
You should.
I have like 1 or 2 Robin Hitchcock.
So
that's
good.
probably my favorite. That's definitely, you should get that, Richard. And you can find that cheap.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of his stuff is
that's all cheap.
It doesn't always turn up, but it's always inexpensive when it does.
And it's a great cover. The artwork is really cool. And the song Luminous Rose. And the luminous rose dies.
I sat next to him in a restaurant once.
Really?
Yeah, and on the other side of the table was Michael Stipe and Peter Buck from REM.
Oh, well, he's nice. He's better. He's
awesome. I love Robin Hitchcock. He was just here recently.
And it rained like a slow divorce, and I wish I could ride a horse. And then the Balloon Man for jumping off the Eiffel Tower. It's very tragic.
I was so indifferent to Robin Hitchcock for a while, but then I read how he was very supportive of Syd Barrett, and that really changed my perspective, and I started listening to his music more.
He's great.
Getting into it, then I started to recognize just how talented he is.
So good,
especially the stuff with the Egyptians. That's my favorite stuff. His solo stuff's good too, though.
That record is just top notch. And my number 1 favorite of 1988, Susie and the Banshees with The Last Beat of My Heart. That song,
it's great.
It's perfect. It gives you all the emotions you need to feel, and Susie's voice on it is perfect.
It's a good song. It really is a good song.
It's so good. And if you want to hear not as good as the original, but an amazing cover, Devotchka actually did a cover of that song, and it's freaking brilliant. So there you have it, 1988 from the Craig.
Well done, Craig.
Thank you.
Craig. Now we'll call you the Craig.
I'm the Craig.
So for most of 1988, I was 15, and I had been listening to current pop music since 83 when we talked about that in the 83 video where I made a real effort to start listening to current music and not so much oldies from the 50s and 60s or whatever. Wow, 88 was when stuff started turning, It seemed like everybody put out their worst, the established groups put out their worst stuff of the 80s in 1988. And that would be people like, let's see here, AC/DC, Blow Up Your Video, very forgettable album. Awful. Nobody plays anything off of this anymore.
They don't even play anything.
Van Halen, OU812. It's okay.
Are you doing your bottoms?
Definitely the worst. Yeah, I'm doing bottoms now, but not really. I mean, my bottoms are going to be singles. I'm just setting the stage with these. But OU812, Sammy Hagar already sounds bored. When it's only his second album with Van Halen. It's definitely my least favorite Van Halen album of the 80s and 70s for that matter. Ozzy Osbourne, No Rest for the Wicked, pretty much forgettable. It's the only 80s album from him that nobody plays anything off of. I mean, there's, people still playing Crazy Train and Shot in the Dark and I Don't Know and Over the Mountain and all that and Bark at the Moon, but nobody plays anything off. Miracle Man about the preacher was the video for a while. My least favorite Metallica album of the 80s is And Justice for All.
No, see, I like that album.
A lot of people like this,
like it
but
too.
I don't really like that for whatever reason. I like the drums, but the double kick drum. Prince, we just talked about Lovesexy, the stunt he pulled with making the whole thing one track. It's got Alphabet Street on it. That's really it. Worst album of the 80s, not including the Batman fiasco. You had...
I Wish You Heaven is really good. That's about it, though.
REM went to a major label with Green. It's just kind of there. I just listened to it this week, and it's kind of like...
I listened to it, too.
God, I love that record. I love that record.
I like some stuff off of it.
I like the singles. Orange Crush is okay and Stand, but not most of it is just kind of you had Duran Duran putting out an album called Big Thing or something like that. It was terrible.
I love that album.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
Yes,
is it better than Rio or Seven and the Ragged Tiger?
No, it's not.
Yeah,
but
it's their worst album of the 80s. That's my point. Is that everybody was putting this...
Actually, did Liberty? No, Liberty came out in 90. Right?
Yeah. Shaka Khan put out CK. It's definitely her worst of the 80s. Just kind of more of a jazzy thing. You had Huey Lewis in the News going jazz with Small World. I just heard Steve Winwood's Roll With It for the first time this week. It's just boring. It's just... His voice is soulful, and it just still sounds so mechanical. It's just not even...
Both those albums. The one before.
Everybody's just phoning it in. Everybody's just doing music by numbers. Everybody's like, oh, it's a new year already. Let's just shit out another album. Our contract says so. So, yeah, just a lot of... I don't know. Georgia Satellites had a really strong debut. And then this is just kind of there. The Open All Night, the follow-up. You wanted them to put out another excellent album, but they did not. It's okay. That's why these aren't my bottoms. They're not terrible. They're just kind of phoned in. Like I said, they're just kind of there. And that's what
one of my bottoms is going to be like that, too. It's not terrible, but it's
just kind of phoned it in. What else am I missing here that was just kind of... You had all these newer kind of metal hair bands coming out at the end trying to catch on, like the Bullet Boys and Kingdom Come. They were all terrible.
Yeah, I forgot about those guys.
Dokken was still putting out stuff that nobody wanted to hear. Rat put out Reach for the Sky. That's not comparable to their early stuff. Neil Young and the Blue Notes, This Note's for You.
Oh,
great concept for the song, but the album is with the jazz kind of...
Right.
Well, Neil Young doesn't go with that. And yeah, by the way, these are not my bottoms. So yeah, you just had a lot of... you had like Winger... Pretty standard hair band. I have a Winger fun fact. This is not actually self-titled. This is a misprint when they had this self-titled on the spine and on the CD and on the album label. This is actually called Sahara, and it's written right there. But they made a misprint, and it's technically not. You had rock bands, straight-ahead rock bands like Bad Company just putting out like truck commercial music. At this point, I
don't remember that.
I don't remember that at all.
No Smoke Without a Fire was the song.
Paul Rogers in the band?
No.
Okay. There we go.
So you had like alternative stuff was turning into like boring ass jangle pop, like the Smithereens, who I never liked. Here's Green Thoughts. It's just kind of there.
Love that record.
It's just kind of meh. It's all right. It's again, it's not a bottom. It's just kind of background music, whatever. So I pretty much checked out. Pop music was like getting real boxy sounding and real junky, clunky sounding. Good example of that is Roxette. Just kind of clunky, kind of boxy kind of production. Not very interesting, not very fun. So I bailed and started listening again to older music, like older classic rock, and that's when I discovered like a lot of punk rock from the 70s, like the Clash and the Sex Pistols and the Damned and the Dead Kennedys and whatever. I had a friend tell me, "Oh, well, they're still making punk rock today. They're making new punk rock, and it's even better than the old stuff. You got to check it out. You got to check out the Dead Milkmen." I checked out the Dead Milkmen. I've already given my opinion on that. Butthole Surfers, that was another one that was suggested because they're punk rock. Here's Hairway to Steven. It's probably their most juvenile. Don't care for that at all. Kind of dumbed down stuff. But the worst one was this one. I went out.
My Butthole Surfers collection is almost complete.
Why? I went out and bought this Unheard, and this killed it. This was like, fuck it. I'm done with the 88. And it's a band called NoFX, and their first album was called Liberal Animation. And this is the worst album I've heard of 1988. I don't usually give albums half a star on like Discogs or
Half
All
a
Music.
rainbow.
But this is absolutely terrible. And so that's when I said that was the actual album where I said, I'm done. I'm completely done with all this. And retreated into the past. So my point is that I didn't hear a lot of the great stuff from 1988 until years later. Am I boring you, Craig?
No, I've worked like 170 hours.
I told you I was going to go long.
No,
I forgot to mention real quick. There was some
be sleepy
neo-traditional country that was out. George Strait had a pretty decent album called, pretty good all the way through. Yeah. You Ain't Lovin', You Ain't Livin'. Keith Whitley had Don't Close Your Eyes. Had to mention that in case Terry's watching. Pretty decent all the way through. Now is worth over $100.
Wait, Terry watches us?
Sometimes.
Wow.
But yeah, neo-traditional country was out with like the Judds and Randy Travis trying to go back to the old country style. You had Katie Lang coming out with Shadowland, not my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a more of a lounge country kind of thing. She doesn't sound genuine to me. I never really cared that much for her. But every time somebody in the vinyl community who's not into country does a country video, Katie Lang, Lyle Lovett, Mary Chapin Carpenter, you can guarantee those three will be. I love country. It's these three. That's how about some damn Oak Ridge Boys? That's country. Anyway, so it was years later when I discovered the best of 1988. Yeah, they only have the one song. And if you ask anybody, I mean, just like I said, the established acts just phoned it in, and that's why if you ask anybody about MTV, am I boring you, Mike?
Sorry.
They will say three things about MTV: 120 minutes, Headbangers Ball, and Yo MTV Raps. Yeah. Because the mainstream sucked. You had to go outside of that.
120 minutes religiously. I loved it.
Yes, it was.
The thing about it is, I didn't really start watching that until like 89 or 90, so I missed all the 88 stuff. Yeah. But there was good stuff in 88. Cinderella was mentioned earlier. They changed up their sound. They're trying not to be a hair band. You can tell by this album cover. It's all white. Don't know what you got till it's gone. It's awesome. They kind of went into more of a blues rock kind of thing, preceding like the Black Crowes and people like that. So that was pretty good. We talked about Living Color, Vivid. Yeah. Excellent. We could do without the song Glamour Boys. That one's kind of weak. There's like really good album tracks on here.
Yeah, there is. It's really
Cult of
good.
Personality, obviously the big one. Open Letter to a Landlord is pretty political and great. You know it's a bad year when Poison puts out one of the most fun-sounding albums. There it is with the tongue, uncensored. Don't get offended. Violent Femmes, speaking of 120 minutes.
Three. Then not very many people talk about it.
Nightmares is pretty good. I don't care for Fat, but Nightmares is on here, and it's got some good stuff on here. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of continues their sound from the earlier.
The mother of a girl.
U2, Rattle and Hum, this is what killed them. This is where people are like, yeah, that's too pretentious, that's too much, I'm out. Yeah. But I still like Desire. That movie is what did it. People saw that movie and were like, really?
I mean, Angel of Harlem and When Love Comes to Town.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some good stuff.
Rattle and Hum to me was still a good one for them. I didn't bail on them.
I like God Part 2, and I liked, what was the other one on here? They do have a live version of Pride in the Name of Love, so it's kind of like a live studio hybrid album. Suicidal Tendencies went heavy metal with How Can I Live Tomorrow? How Can I Laugh? What is it? How Can I Laugh Tomorrow If I Can't Even Smile Today? They get better, but this is their heavy metal kind of debut. Keith Richards went solo. Decent album. Not awesome or anything, but Talk is Cheap. It's okay. Susie and the Banshees was one of those that I discovered a lot later. Peep Show this is the promo thing, so it doesn't have a cover. But Peep Show is just fantastic, almost all the way through. Yeah. Peekaboo's great. The song, Last Beat of My Heart is great. Like Craig mentioned, it's got a theme to it. It's got like a carnival kind of Peep Show kind of thing, but it doesn't overdo it. It's not overdone. It's just the perfect amount. We've talked about Tracy Chapman's debut in another video, so check out that video for the full review. But that's great almost all the way through. Definitely sounds different than a lot of stuff I did know about her at the time. But here's another one that sucks. Skyscraper from David Lee Roth. My God,
it's terrible.
So bad I never even opened it.
Yeah, wow.
Just terrible. Traveling Wilburys was interesting. It got Tom Petty together with Jeff Lynne and Roy Orbison and George Harrison and Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan does very little on this album. One of the bad ones is Tweeter and the Monkey Man. That's pretty stupid. But the rest of the album is great.
Is that an original?
Yeah. I love End of the Line. That's like
a very expensive record.
Yes, it is. I'll put that down there gently. Cowboy Junkies. The Trinity Sessions was pretty fantastic. Great 2 a.m. Soundgarden had their debut full length, Ultra Mega OK. A lot of screaming going on in that. Lita Ford, Lita. Craig mentioned that. I don't know what happened to my stuff here. Here it is. NWA, Straight Outta Compton. I just heard that this week for the first time all the way. I mean, I know Fuck the Police and a couple of the other songs.
Wow, yeah, Fuck the Police.
You can understand why heavy metal. I mean, it wasn't just Nirvana. First of all, they did it to themselves with shitty music and being more concentrated on hair and the look than the music. But these hair bands, it was also rap that killed that shit.
Yeah.
Because they're still trying to be PG-13, and here comes full-on X-rated NWA and Eazy-E and whatever.
Yeah.
If you had attitude, you wanted to piss off your parents, you couldn't just throw on Motley Crue anymore. No, you had to put on NWA. There was a new sheriff in town doing that. I heard The Innocents from Erasure for the first time this week. That was pretty good. I was really surprised how good that was, considering it's got that one guy involved. The Sugar Cube, what's his name?
What guy?
There's only two of them. Vince Clarke.
Vince Clarke?
The Sugar Cubes, really Björk's early band, really good stuff there all the way through.
But it was Life's Too Good that year.
I remember seeing her on 120 Minutes.
Life's Too Good, yeah.
See,
I didn't hear the Sugar Cubes
until
probably the late '90s was the first time I heard of the Sugar Cubes. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Up Your Alley, is a surprisingly great album, all the way through. Good. Yeah, I was surprised. I never heard that all the way through before. Viva Hate from Morrissey. He is away from the Smiths. He goes solo for a solo debut, and it doesn't have the guitar, so he doesn't try to mimic the guitar with a different guitar player. He's got a completely different sound, and it sounds so good. It sounds so full. It's a quality. It's like an audiophile recording. Happy Mondays, Bummed. That was another one that was great. Kind of pop type music. Like Craig mentioned, Ministry. I do like the Psalm 69 album better. But this is pretty harsh and pretty heavy all the way through. Kind of a new sound at the time. I didn't hear that until like 93. Also, the first time I ever heard Slayer, South of Heaven. This is, their first major label, Rain and Blood, is just speed metal all the way through. This one, they slow down. It's a little more dynamic in the tempos and the sound. But South of Heaven, the title track, is amazing. And that tone at the end of that's pretty cool. They are definitely not a hair band. They're looking really different. Tom Araya looks like an evil Santa Claus these days. That's how he used to look. The misstep on here is they try to redo Judas Priest with Dissident Aggressor, and the vocalist is not Rob Halford. You can't, no, it doesn't work. Danzig, his debut solo.
His debut, yeah.
I mean, it returns heavy metal to something frightening and scary and literally satanic I mean, the Devil song's on here. Twist of Cain is great. This has the original mix of Mother on here with the video that they wouldn't show on MTV.
Song so much.
Some stuff is kind of cheesy, like She Rides. And, what's that?
Is that like the birth of black metal?
You could say that. I mean, he's definitely not dressed up in anything. He wears black clothes, and he's he's muscular, but he just wears whatever, and that's kind of what black metal was. Is we're not is the opposite of that, where we're gonna put the makeup back on and we're gonna be whatever. So it's not quite black metal, but the satanic stuff, I guess you could say, is like that. But my favorite album out of all of those of 1988, and like Craig said, probably can't show the cover, is Jane's Addiction with Nothing Shocking.
Mm-hmm.
I do, however, show this on my Instagram, where I'm also naked, holding the album. So you can join my Instagram for that. Not really. I have underwear on, but you can't really see it. But anyway, Nothing Shocking, my favorite album of the year.
An album I still need to get.
So good.
So what am I now? Oh, am I next now?
You're next
with more singles.
Yeah, it's you.
Well, I decided I was going to go with albums, but I decided to go with singles. But first, of course, we got to start off with the news events of 1988.
Of course.
And the interesting ones, at least they were interesting to me. I thought I was curious about the 30th Grammys on March 2nd. So, album of the year went to U2 for Joshua Tree. Graceland got record of the year. And then Linda Ronstadt and James Ingram together for Somewhere Out There got Song of the Year. I don't remember
87.
that song.
Yeah, well, it would be the Grammys
from 88.
Yeah.
Right. This is the Grammys event of 1988. And then Jodie Watley, or is it Jodie Waitley?
Jodie Watley.
Jodie Watley. She was named Best New Artist. On April 7th, Alice Cooper almost dies when his, that gallows prop that he uses on stage malfunctions.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Poor Alice.
Then
that would have been cool.
That would have been great to be at that show.
Oh, kids.
How macabre. On April 25th, this super manager, Doc McGee, remember him? He was the manager for Kiss and Motley Crue and Bon Jovi. He was sentenced to 5 years probation. Pretty lucky, 5 years probation. It was part of a plea deal, I guess, because he pleaded guilty to charges of drug smuggling in connection with a 1982 seizure of 40,000 pounds of marijuana that was being shipped into North Carolina from Colombia. So he got 5 years probation.
For marijuana? That's a lot of marijuana.
That's a shitload of Colombian marijuana, too.
Wowee.
I mean, 1988, I wasn't smoking, but I remember in the 70s, Colombian was pretty much the top. That was like the best.
Let's put Colombian with. I thought that was cocaine. That was.
No, I thought that was coffee.
Well, Colombia cocaine.
Yeah,
that was
coffee.
a big deal too. In the 80s was the cocaine.
I love me some Colombian coffee.
Which they tried to use coffee for a long time because I guess the thought was that it threw off the drug sniffing dogs.
Oh.
Anyway. On June 27th, Motown Records gets sold to MCA Records for $61 million.
Wow.
Bye-bye, Motown.
61 million. Wow.
In 1988, $61 million.
Yeah.
Then September 24th, back to crime, we've got James Brown being charged with all kinds of things after a police chase, an interstate
chase where he was,
yeah.
So he was because in a pickup truck.
There was he broke into this seminar in Augusta, Georgia, in a building where he had an office, and he busts in demanding to know who's using my restroom
with a shotgun and started aiming at innocent people who were there Because it was like
Sit down.
I don't know what they thought it was, but they were in like a. I don't know. It was older people though. It was elderly people.
Yeah,
This motherfucker's
was a
waving a
seminar,
shotgun
right.
in their face.
Yeah.
Fuck that
Yeah.
guy. I mean, what the hell, man?
Yeah,
He was cranked up on something.
he was out of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, but we've got on November 7th, John Fogerty wins a self-plagiarism lawsuit. He wins the lawsuit with Fantasy Records that contended that his comeback hit, The Old Man Down the Road, was too similar to Run Through the Jungle by CCR in 1970, and he ended up winning that lawsuit. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Such a joke.
Yeah.
I'm glad he
All
won.
right, so my top singles. I'll start off with the honorable mentions. I've talked about these guys before. Underworld. During this time in 1988, they were very much a house music band. So this is the 12-inch single for Underneath the Radar that I picked up. So it was, just a few years later when their sound, they really got into what they do now, and really, really changed the landscape for dance music. Another one that I liked, found it was a Wild Thing by Tone Loc.
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 As in Loco Tony.
Yeah. And then Fishbone had a really good song. I thought it was a really good song. Still like it today. Bonin' in the Boneyard. That was a good
I
single.
love Fishbone.
Of course, Erasure. With the song that I picked for is A Little Respect. I really like that song. That was a great single that came out that
I can't
year.
remember that once.
A couple from, I like this album, and the two singles, Finest Work Song and Stand. I really like those two, but I have one other for my top 10 from that record.
Finest
And
Work
then-
Song's on Document.
What's that?
Finest Work Song is on Document.
But it was okay. But it was a hit in 1988.
Oh, okay.
The single was released. Yeah, shit. I was looking at the list I was looking at and had it down as a release for 1988.
They were cranking out music
Anyway.
at that time.
Teenage Riot by Sonic Youth.
Yeah.
A single off of Daydream Nation. Great. It's a great album, too.
Yeah.
And then 500 Miles by the Proclaimers. Really, really like that song. And by the way, nice ass, the two of them. I mean, that's a nice butts, I tell you. Then let me see here. This is a song I don't remember from the time. So when I was going through songs, I was listening to it. This is a really good song, Martha's Harbor by All About Eve. Really enjoyed that song. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It's a pretty good song. Frank Zappa had a single. It was a guitar solo single from this album. And it's called Orrin Hatch on Skis. It's really quite a tasty guitar solo.
What? Did you say orange hats on sheep?
Orrin Hatch on Skis.
Oh, I like orange hats on sheep better. So,
Would have been a much bigger hit.
I am going to write a song called that.
I like that too. If you need some help, let me know. We can collaborate.
Because sheep would blend in with, because so you need orange hats on them, so they don't get. They can be seen from above, maybe.
Craig will be debuting that on our live episode.
Yeah, I'm going to debut my new hit single, "Orange Hats on Sheep," on the live. So,
excellent.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me know if you need.
I'm going to forget that
I'd love to collaborate on that.
Yes. Everybody could do a verse.
Yes. Well, yeah. As long as you set the key in the tempo.
I don't sing.
I can't sing an A. I can do
it. There's a lot of singers who make a lot of money who can't sing.
I know. David Lee Roth.
Yeah. I don't have a physical copy, but Jeff Healey's River of No Return. I love to see Robert's expressions on this.
I thought you were going to say Angel Eyes. I don't know River of No Return.
I don't know that person.
Dead.
In your angel eyes,
guitar,
my way.
electric blues guitar player.
Yeah, he was in Roadhouse.
Wasn't he blind?
Roadhouse.
Yeah, he was blind. He was in Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze.
Roadhouse.
Guitar in his lap. Then, like you were saying, Robert, the song "This Note's for You" by Neil Young. It's a good song, bad album. And Last Beat of My Heart, Susie and the Banshees. Like that one. Warakana by Midnight Oil. Good single off of this, which the album was released worldwide in 1987, but it was released in the U.S. in 1988. Yeah. From the U2 album Rattle and Hum, I love When Love Comes to Town. That collaboration with B.B. King. I really like that song.
Look at Craig just writing his song right now. He is going.
I'm writing notes of what it needs to be about.
Yeah.
Not actually
jamming about those sheep with orange hats. And what are they singing? All right, my top 10 singles. I'm going to start off at number 10 with Middleman by Living Colour. And then End of the Line, Traveling Wilburys. Don't have anything for those. Copperhead Road by Steve Earle. I really liked that song.
God, I hate going last.
And this is a song that I wasn't all that familiar with, but wait, I don't know how I missed it. It's a single by Bob Dylan called Silvio. Liked that very much. And then I think we talked about it in an earlier episode, the band The Waterboys. Fisherman Blues.
Fisherman Blues.
Great song. So what is that? 10, 9, 8, 7. That was number 6. Number 5 is, Only a Memory. I love the Smithereens. I love this album. I think this is a very solid album.
I love 11.
And
I liked 11, yeah. That one's really
11
good.
is really good.
Yeah. And then I really like Orange Crush. That would be my favorite song from Green. That one. I'm spacing out here. So that's number 4. Number 3 is Jane's Addiction with Mountain Song. I really need to get that album because when I do see it, it's usually an early pressing and it's really expensive. I know there are some repressors out there.
They've reissued it.
Yeah,
I got mine for $3.99 back in the 90s.
So did I. But yeah.
But Craig was talking about not understanding, lyrics and orange sheep with orange hats. I always thought in Mountain Song he was saying, "'Cause you know, honey, 'cause you know, baby." He's not, and I like my lyric better. He's saying, "Cash in now, honey, cash in now, baby." I thought it was like, "'Cause you know, honey," but I guess not.
No,
I like my lyric better.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
Have to see what substance he might have been on while he was singing.
Which ones wasn't he on?
That's a shorter list.
Number 2, God, I love her voice. And this is my favorite song from this wonderful, wonderful album. To Love is to Bury. Margot Timmons' voice is just gold. It's just so rich.
That's another one I got for like $3.99 back in the 90s.
Yeah,
it's like $100 album now or something like that.
Yeah,
it's very expensive
now.
Well, that's the only Cowboy Junkies that I have on vinyl. I have a lot of others on CD.
Me too. Yeah.
I have a few. They're hard to come by, and a lot of them have not been released. Their new record did drop last week, though.
Right. So, and they're all really, really good. I think one of my other favorite ones is the Black Eyed Cowboy or
Black Eyed Soul,
Black Eyed something. But then my number 1 song is Fast Car, Tracy Chapman.
Black Eyed Man.
Black Eyed Man.
Black Eyed Man, yeah. And I Got a Horse in the Country. Oh, that's a great song. But anyway, yeah, those are my top 10 singles.
Yeah, nobody yawned while you were doing yours. Mike is next.
I was hiding it.
I'm next.
I've been yawning a lot.
So I pulled I think I pulled like 12 albums. My honorable mentions: Lucinda Williams' debut came out that year. Traveling Wilburys, their debut was absolutely fantastic. The second one, not so much. Steve Earle, Copperhead Road. Man, I had that CD in 1988. I was a junior in college, and I was not listening to hair bands. I was not listening to dance music. Copperhead Road, I burned that CD out. I played that all the time. Sugar Cube's Life is Good. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds' Tender Prey. Excellent record by them. The Happy Mondays, I'm so glad Robert mentioned that. They're on Bummed. Really, really good record. My favorite solo of Morrissey, Viva La Hate. Viva Hate. It's just fantastic. You're right. It does sound great, too. It's recorded so well.
And the U.S. version has a track that the UK one doesn't have. Mm-hmm. And also, there's newer ones that have replaced a track with a different track. Yes. So you want to get the original.
And it was also called Australia did not like the title of it, and they changed it. And I recently just saw one of those and almost bought it, but
yeah, they changed it to what was written on the Inner Groove. I can't remember what it was, but that's the name
like
of it.
That. And then they're like, "Oh, well, that's originally what the album was going to be called," and Morrissey's like, "No, it wasn't."
Yeah.
Education in Reverse is what it
says. Yeah, okay.
That's what it says on the Australian pressing. And I, like I said, I just recently saw it and I almost bought it, but it was like $80.
So those are my honorable mentions, and I got about 12 records here. I just picked this record up. I knew of this record. I had the CD when I collected CDs, and I was super happy this has finally got reissued. This is Suicide, A Way of Life. This is their second or third record, I believe. They are a punky, electronic, minimalist band. Really electronic, very, very cool stuff. I love this record. I was really happy to get it. It does have an additional song added on, a live version of Born in the USA, the cover of Bruce Springsteen. It is interesting. Not very good, but interesting. I liked this record. This was kind of Brian Wilson's big comeback. He was coming out of the haze and going into another haze with Dr. Eugene Levy or Eugene Gandy. What was his name? Gandy? Eugene Levy. Dr. Eugene Levy. They were all on
Gandy.
Not Gandy, right? Anyway, he was a lunatic. He was crazier than Brian Wilson. This has Love and Mercy on it. It's worth it just for that song. Jesus and Mary Chain released this. They were one of my favorite bands at the time. This is Barbed Wire Kisses. It's like B-sides and some weird shit, but at the time it felt like a whole new record. It was really, really good. I loved this when this came out. This is actually a Spanish pressing for some reason. I did not even realize that. Everything's written in Spanish.
Oh, and cool. And it has a gold stamp on the front too. Doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I guess I should have noticed that. Yeah.
You're welcome for helping you notice it was gold stamp.
I need helpers. This is a cool band that nobody's ever heard of. This is a band from Australia called Died Pretty. This is their album Lost. I think they made like 3 or 4 records.
Familiar.
Yeah, they were really, really cool band. I think they made like 3 or 4 records. But this is probably my favorite of their records. Really, really cool. Died Pretty. Out of Australia. You guys have already mentioned this. Absolutely fantastic. If I was doing these in any kind of order, this might be number 1. It probably would be. This would be Susie and the Banshees Peep Show. It's probably my favorite Susie record. I absolutely love this. A guy I really, really like. This is actually, and I'm sure this record I bought when it came out in '88. This is Graham Parker. I really, really like him. This is Mona Lisa's sister. Excellent, excellent artist. I really dig his stuff. He's made a lot of records. He's still out there making stuff. He also does he has Graham Parker and the Rumor, Graham Parker solo stuff, all kinds of really interesting stuff. Like I said, still touring, still making records. This is my favorite of his records. I love this thing.
I
I've
only have
seen that
Sparks.
cutter a
That's the only
lot.
one I have.
Yeah, which one?
Sparks.
Oh, yeah. I think Richard showed this. One of my favorite bands. I love this. Diesel and Dust, Midnight Oil. We talked about this. We did the album review of it. Wow, that seems like so long ago that we did an album review of this. But Tracy Chapman's debut, absolutely gorgeous.
Doesn't really go with the rest of 1988. I mean, it sounds so
it's
different.
so different and so unique and really, really great. This would probably be second or third favorite record of the year. This is Talk Talk, Spirit of Eden. We did we do this or Laughing Stock?
Laughing Stock.
We did Laughing Stock. I almost picked this at that time. Just as good, same vein of that jazzy minimalist, sparse vocals of Mark Hollis. Excellent, excellent record. I think Craig mentioned Surfer Rosa, the Pixies, not the. Great record, gigantic. Kim Deal is all over this record.
I need to get Surfer Rosa. That's
her bass playing is so good. Yes, you do, Richard. Surfer Rosa is definitely one of no, it's not my favorite. I was going to say no, it's not. But great record. Kim Deal is all over that record. Her bass playing is spectacular. And a band that we talked about a lot last week, and I'm surprised nobody mentioned this. So now I'm thinking that it was not...
I'm off the Pet Shop. I gave Pet Shop Boys a month detention.
Month? Wow.
No.
This is introspective.
I loved your
Domino
Pet Shop Boy video,
dancing
Craig.
is on here. I love Domino dancing.
Thank you.
This is great. Always
Which
on my mind.
Before Fifton said that, by the way.
And that's all I pulled. And that's all I got. But I thought it was a pretty good year. It was a weird year for me. I was in college and I was not failing out, but I was not interested in being there anymore. And I went on the road with the Grateful Dead on the East Coast tour twice.
Wow.
And went broke and kind of left school and went home.
Well, that's kind of why mine was a little bit longer this time. And I explained like the bad, because I didn't want to do like bottoms or something first, but it was kind of like, my point is that while I was living it real time, it was horrible. And I didn't know all of this other stuff.
Right.
And Sonic Youth and Susie and the Banshees and Happy Monday. I didn't know all that stuff until later. And so 1988 had a lot of great music, but I did not know that in 1988. I knew a couple of them, but...
I knew most of it.
I was living in a very isolated area out west, so the fact that I had cable TV and one of the apartments that I was renting so that I could watch 120 minutes, that really was a lifesaver.
I don't think I could watch that at the time. I didn't have cable in my room, and my father commanded the TV, and so it was like he would always be up late on the.
We didn't get MTV in my area on cable until I think 90 or 91.
Wow.
If you had friends that had satellite, then you could go over to the friend's house and watch their satellite and watch MTV on that. But yeah, cable, I want to say it was 90 or 91 is when we finally got MTV in my area. But
it's an interesting time to look back on, though, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, listening to all those albums in nothing but 1988, it's kind of like reliving the year, but reliving it properly with all of the good stuff thrown in there. That it just makes that mainstream stuff sound so much worse. And people putting out their worst. Steve Miller Band, Born to Be Blue, and I think Richard mentioned Bob Dylan. I didn't listen to it, so I don't have my own opinion, but I think the consensus is he put out his worst album that year, called Down in the Groove. It's supposed to be like his rock bottom for Bob Dylan, according to...
Was that 88?
It's 88.
I guess it would have been. Yeah. That song Silvio is not bad, though. But yeah, that album total is not good. I didn't realize that was 88.
That might be why I never heard the song Silvio, is because I wasn't listening yet. At that time, the shit he was putting out. But then I saw Silvio on the list, and so I gave it a listen, and I'm going, wow, this is a good tune. I like this.
Who did?
So
oh,
now
well,
those are the tops, and we even mentioned some bottoms, but now it's time for rock
Right,
bottom,
yeah,
the
so
absolute worst. And
the absolute
Craig,
worst.
Craig is first. The worst of
I am
1988.
first.
This is going to be really bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be well. So I just didn't really find anything that was like extremely bad, but this one. So I only have one, and I know it's sad when I only have one,
Yeah,
but because
That's very
I'm
because
feeling
I
ripped
think
I
off.
got a list.
my bottom sometimes are where I shine. But this song, I remember like Night Flight. Y'all, you had to watch Night Flight to watch music. That's how we watch music.
And you can
videos.
still get old Night Flight episodes if you have Roku.
Yeah.
You have to subscribe to it, but they have a Night Flight app.
Yeah, they do.
It's so that was you had to stay up and I would actually so at that time we didn't have cable and I would watch my sister's kids on the weekends and so I would take blank videotapes and I would record the entire night and then go back and watch them. But this fucking song. I don't know who she is. Maybe she did other stuff. This song was all the time, and then it would play on like contemporary radio or something. And I forgot about it until I saw it on the list of singles, and I immediately went. It was like I don't know, traumatic, and I went back into I wanted to hide under a table and just cower and just be I'm so afraid because I forgot about the song and blocked it out of my memory in this fucking list, this fucking singles of 1988 brought it back into my life and it's been in my head for like an entire fucking week and I didn't even listen to it. I didn't go. It's just I mean, maybe you guys may not even know
traumatic.
It is very traumatic. This song did something to me, and I don't.
Changed
Again,
your life.
I don't know who she is. I don't know if she ever did anything again. Her name is Brenda Russell. And this song is called Piano in the Dark. When he plays piano in the dark. It traumatized me.
Why?
It's not good.
I'll tell you what's not good. They did some dance remix of that was out when we were going to clubs, and it's sped up. What's the chorus of that? They did that with another song too. They didn't. Steve Winwood's Valerie.
Oh yeah,
they just take the "Call on Me" part, and they just play it over and over. It's like, this is fucking record skipping or what? Call on me, call on me, call on me.
I don't even think they ever say Valerie, and they actually call this song
we're out of here.
Call on Me.
But the Brenda Russell Piano in the Dark, I don't remember what she sings. But that's what they keep repeating, and it's sped up. It's like a chipmunk thing. It's like, I'm sorry, we're all kind of in a bar that's 21 and up, so who is this for? Little kids? We doing the chipmunks now?
Let's see. I know Caught Up in the Middle. I cry just a little. When I think of letting go.
Caught in the middle, I cry just a little. When I think of letting go. Ooh, baby, I'm deep into the riddle. I cry.
She gave up on
cry just a little. That part they keep speeding up.
Singing falsetto is really
piano in the.
I do like that song.
Me like a thief of the heart. He plays a melody. Oh,
Brenda
Russell.
Take a drink, Craig.
Take
a drink.
In the dark. I think there was actually two versions of that, and I think maybe she does it to the cover version. I don't know who did
Well, I don't know, but this says also
God.
featuring somebody named Joe Esposito. I don't know who that is.
He's a producer, I think, mostly. But
okay.
Well, I have more than one bottom, and some of the one is pretty bad. But
okay.
You had the late coming hair bands that weren't around in the early '80s that just decided to waltz in onto the scene in like '87 or '88, like White Lion, and their ridiculous "Wait" song. Wait.
Oh, and
I never got a chance to fuck you. I'm standing with my dick out of prom. At least you can give me a hand job. Come back. Wait. Terrible.
Dick out at prom?
Yeah, they had their dick out at prom. Wanting a hand job. Had a couple of songs with the same name, but two different songs. Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel.
Don't Be Cruel.
Bobby Brown, How Good Could It Be? It's going to be horrible. That's given.
And
but
to you. That's a good song.
Yeah, terrible.
No. Don't be
Cheap
creepy.
Trick also did
Cheap
Don't Be
Trick.
Cruel, and
Yeah.
they did the Elvis remake.
it's
I
not
think the
good.
Judds did that as well. But the
That's
Cheap
pretty
who the
good.
hell told Cheap Trick to do that? And that was a good idea.
don't know.
And to make it a single. Just
Yeah.
awful. Why? Oh, I think we could. You know what, guys? I think it sounds better than Elvis. No, it does not.
No.
You don't redo like Elvis Presley's. What next? You're going to redo frickin' Hound Dog? Well, actually, that was a cover. But anyway, you don't do fucking Don't Be Cruel. It's the point. Another remake. Tiffany. I saw him standing there. We did not need that. And if anybody even says they heard that before the Beatles version, I swear to God. And I know who's going to put that in the comments. Don't do it. I saw him standing there. I saw him standing there.
The video. I saw him
standing there. I saw him standing there.
He was just
I saw him-
17.
People
way
used to
beyond
compare
compared.
Tiffany with Debbie
Don't
Gibson.
ever dance. Don't ever dance with another. Nobody.
Yeah, nobody's ever
nobody.
going to
And
dance
I'm
to that fucking
sorry.
song. And
I'm
in
sorry.
my mind, there's no comparison. Debbie Gibson is like a completely different thing than fucking Tiffany. Interview her and you're not allowed to ask her about the fucking 80s. Give me a goddamn break.
That's all she talks about now.
Speaking of course, remakes. You had this god awful dual remake from some shit called Will to Power. They actually remade "Baby I Love Your Way" from Peter Frampton, and then followed it up, same song, "Baby I Love Your Way" / Freebird. If I leave here
It's not pretty.
tomorrow. It's like, that's a Leonard Skinner song, people. You don't... Hands to Heaven from Breathe. It's a little too precious.
It is
Tonight I
precious.
need your sweet caress. Hold me in the darkness. Oh my God, that's just awful. How is somebody supposed to fuck to that? Eddie Money had a terrible song called "Walk on Water." It's just awful.
Awful.
Annie
Terrible.
Lennox teamed up with Al Green. You think that'd be really cool? Too bad they didn't put a little love in your heart. I want to hear Annie Lennox being like severe and intense and like way out. Not talking about put a little love in your heart. That was wrong for her. New Kids on the Block had their first album out. Pick a song. They're all, I'm sure, I haven't heard all of them. I've heard the singles. Like, You Got It, The Right Stuff. And what makes that song worse?
Second album.
I swear to... Oh, yeah, the first one, The Kids Got Braces. It's their second album. You're right. Hanging Tough.
And they had Didn't I Blow Your Mind?
Okay, this is how bad New Kids on the Block fans are. We used to have this thing on the station I was on called Boy Band Night. And we did it once a year. It was like a prom redo thing where you relive your prom or whatever. And this group played... The group was called Boy Band Night. And they're actually from Chicago. And they were a cover group, and they did all the boy band songs. So it was kind of like you got to.
I've seen them.
Okay,
They
I saw them.
play
I saw them 4 times because of work.
I saw them about 5 years ago. They play every. I don't know if they still do. They play all like the music, like all the street festivals. They played at in Midsummer Fest in Anderson.
And they play New Kids on the Block.
5
and they
years
cover
ago.
Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. They do the
Yep.
80s and the 90s. They'll
Yeah.
throw in a little bit of like hip hop, like
They're
they
actually-
do Pony from Genuine.
Yeah.
But they dress up. They're all in the white, like
Yeah.
like new
They're
NSYNC
actually
or
pretty
whoever.
good if you like that shit.
So we're doing this whole thing with them, and we've got 80s stuff everywhere. We've got to pin the lips on the boy band, which it was funny because it was called New Kids on the Block, you know, and you got to pin the lips. You blindfolded, and this woman puts her lips right on the D in Kids. I'm like, damn, she put her lips right on the D. That's a true fan. Anyway,
Yeah,
so I'm there with the microphone, you know, live broadcast, and there's this group of women, you know, when everybody's in their 40s, you know, early whatever, because they grew up with this stuff. They've all got New Kids on the Block shirts on. They're ready to party. I walk up with my microphone on the air and go, all right, oh. And they look at me like, what?
They didn't sing the right
No,
stuff.
no.
They're not.
I'm glad
real
you got
fans,
what I was
then.
trying to do. So
They're
I'm
not
not the
real
problem here.
fans,
It's
then.
them, right?
No,
Fucking
those,
lame.
those girls were not fans.
No. Well, they had the shirts on and shit.
They
Look at
are
me like,
liars because I know a lot of NKOTB fans. My friend Brandy is insane. when
and
it
if a
comes-
radio personality,
And
the top
she
one, by the way,
she
walked up
would
to
have
you,
been
a Missouri
she would have
Broadcaster
been
Award-winning
right up there, yeah.
radio personality, walked up to you with a microphone live on the air and did that, wouldn't you think your friends would go, the right stuff, probably all in unison?
I guarantee Brandy would.
Oh my God, I'm just like, I'm
She'd
just going to
be
fucking
like,
go home.
Woo! Yeah. she'd
Edie
be
Brickell and New Bohemians, what I
so.
am, that's
Yes, I remember
awful.
them.
Was
Good.
that year?
God, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's
Um,
wonderful.
Oh, speaking of more covers, we got Kiss from Tom Jones with The Art of Noise. That was
Not
awful.
good.
Worst song of 1988.
Okay.
Fucking Def Leppard. Pour Some Sugar on Me. The rest of these
That's 88?
songs... Well, the album came out in 87, but it was a single in 88. On May, In the Name of Love. The rest of these songs had the decency to go away. That song, I have played it on rock radio. I go to country radio and get a reprieve from it. I go to adult hits and it's back. And I've heard that song for years, once or twice a week. There's two versions of it. There's the album version that starts off, step inside, walk this way. There's the single video version that starts off with, heavy like a bomb, heavy, heavy like a bomb. Played them both. They're both horrible. It's terrible. I cannot stand sing-songy. I call it jump rope rock. And that is the epitome. Pour some sugar on me in the name of love. I cannot fucking stand that song. I was in country radio. They play it at the fucking country
You will
dance
never
club.
hear me sing on this channel, by the way.
Oh my God, it's awful.
Good.
And how many idiots
can't
heard
do
that
the
song
falsetto,
and took it?
that's
I can
for
just
sure.
imagine situations
leave it
where
up to
idiots that are fans of that song took it seriously, and it's like just brings or some guy, I don't know which one it would be, or if gay people are going to be into that,
Yeah.
but like just bring a big bag of sugar to bed and just pour it all over the guy.
Pour it.
Like, God damn! I'm
Yeah.
going to use that pour the sugar on me. I thought you like it.
It's kind of that'd be kind of messy, and I don't know.
Right.
But
I guarantee you that's happened.
Get-
Somebody has some idiot
get
has
the
walked into the
vacuum,
bedroom and poured
clean
sugar
it,
on the other
yeah.
person.
Mm.
It's like that's
Get
not what the
stuff
song
to
means.
that.
It's like when grandma
No
gives you some
shit.
shit. So the song's about grandmas? What?
I've been obtuse about some song lyrics and missing what they are talking about, but I know that ain't about pouring sugar all over. something.
No.
It's right? It's like when a woman gets wet, that's what he wants on him, right?
Yeah.
Robert Fitton.
I'm just making sure. Although he does say one lump or two. So that's some
It's
nasty.
just being lugubrious.
He's not talking. Okay.
Wow.
Let's move on.
Yeah, he wants one lump.
Richard.
I got 5 bottoms. One's an event. 2 of them are singles, and 2 of them are albums. The one event, March 10th, Andy Gibb died, and it was just 5 days after he turned 30.
Oh yeah,
Victoria Principal's fault.
Yeah,
She killed him.
Bingo,
She
baby.
Oh
killed
my
him.
God, this show is
poured too much
parody.
sugar on him.
It was a comedy comment.
She broke her heart. His heart.
Pammy.
Allegedly.
He was definitely the hottest of the
Allegedly.
Gibb brothers.
He just
I
wanted
just,
to be
you
your
know.
everything.
He did.
He could have been.
And all he could do was dream with Victoria.
Oh my God, we talked about that on
We
another
did
bottom
it.
segment.
Yeah, I think we did.
Not good.
Two of us had that on the
My
bottom
2
list.
singles for bottoms. Anything, of course, by Phil Collins, but 2 Hearts. It just, anything by him is just.
Yeah,
Oh my
And the video was kind of self-absorbed and pretentious as well.
The video was scenes from his movie debut, Buster. Wasn't it?
Oh, Buster. And yeah,
it was-
Groovy
yeah,
Kind of Love.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Self-promoting.
The other one, though, is a song by Poison. Every rose has its thorn.
It does,
It's a
though.
song that is just thick with cliches.
Yeah.
It's hair metal.
We both lie
all a
silently
cliche.
still in the dead of night. Although we both lie close together, we feel miles apart inside. Oh, wow, that was so original. Was
Love
it
it, you were-
something I
That
said
was
or
very
something I did?
inspirational and very.
Was
Did
it
the
something
words
I
not
said or
come out
something I
right?
did? Did the word not come out right?
Right.
Wow.
No,
And
I
play
tried
that one
not
on the
to
radio a
hurt
lot,
you.
too.
No, I tried.
Oh, try.
Every
I guess that's
rose
why I
has
say
its
every
thorn.
rose has its thorn. There's no R. There's no R in a poison thorn.
Has its thorn.
Just like every cowboy sings his
Sad song.
Just like every porn star has a great big dong. Every rose has its thorn. Well, I guess not female porn stars.
That was a bottom. Now, when it comes to albums, one of these is it's not that it's a completely awful album, but it's got some good moments to it, and that's this Frank Zappa album, Broadway the Hard Way.
He looks like Yanni there.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Does he look like Yanni?
What's
I
that?
thought he was whipping out some Yanni.
That picture, he looks like Yanni.
David Sanborn or something.
Yanni. It's Yanni Zappa.
Zappa goes Sanborn.
So,
All he forgot to do was roll up his suit sleeves. It's 1988. Roll those up, man.
The weird thing about this record, it's got some good songs on it, and it's also from it's live, and it's taken from different shows in the 1988 tour, which was the last tour. And he had his best band, his best touring band ever. And like I say, there were some good songs. I mean, there's Dickie's Such an Asshole, which he's just really ripping on Richard Nixon and Reagan and Ollie North. And then When the Lie's So Big and Jesus Thinks You're a Jerk, where he goes off on Pat Robertson and televangelists in general. Ryman Man, he goes after Jesse Jackson. But then this was also a time where Zappa was hopping on the AIDS conspiracy theories. Yeah. And with the song Promiscuous, he's ripping on, you remember C. Everett Koop. He was kind of ripping on him, but yeah, he brings in all that other shit. I think one of the better moments on here, and I know Mike is not a fan, but Sting joins the band and they play Murder by Numbers.
Oh, well, probably one of my favorite songs.
Which is
that wasn't even on
interesting.
that's not on the vinyl, right?
Right. It was not on.
No.
It was not on.
Synchronicity.
Synchronicity. It was released as a single.
They should have put it on the previous.
Well, it was
album,
the CD bonus track. Right, back when that was a big deal.
Right.
You have the CD bonus track.
Yeah. It was kind of interesting too, because as he was introducing Sting, he says, we didn't know each other, and he called him Mr. Sting. I thought that was kind of interesting. So it's probably, I don't think it's like an awful album, but it is certainly among my, it's not even a least favorite. It's not a favorite. It's just one of his weakest albums.
It's just there.
And a fantastic tour. It was such a great tour. There are so many better releases of the 88 tour than this one. The other one I talked about this on a video that I did. This is a Peel session that I picked up, and this is the Noise Band, Extreme Noise Terror. Now, Peel sessions, these are, he's a DJ from Britain, and he'd been making great, he would make these great recordings with all different kinds of bands. And so he did this one with this noise band, noise metal band, Extreme Noise Terror. I bought it because it's a Peel session.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is awful.
No bueno.
It's like the Cookie Monster, vocals. It's just like growling through everything. And
why are you messing with Cookie Monster?
Isn't even all that inspiring. But I know people like it. Tommy at Tommy's Vinyl Knot and Jason Skills have both said, wow, that's such a great record. And I'm thinking, I would gift it to somebody, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have to make
one of your enemies.
Make Tommy and Jason, fight for it somehow, because either one of them to ship the record to them is going to be.
Every time I see one of those Peel sessions in a record store, I pick it up.
Yeah, I'm that way too. I don't care what it is. I will pick it up.
I do the same thing, and the ones like you have with that color, the reddish like rust, those are pretty cheap. You can get those for $10.
Yeah, these are the
gray ones. The gray ones are getting more and more expensive now. I see those sometimes. Some of them are like $30 or $40 now, and they're EPs.
They are. The one I really want to get is the session with Syd Barrett, but the only sellers I ever see are overseas. But anyway, those are my bottoms for 1988.
Wow. Well, I got a few bottoms. First of all, this was the year I just went through. I just Googled 1988, and there was a lot of Paula Abdul. Bleh. There was a lot of Bobby Brown. Bleh. There was a lot of Taylor Dane. Bleh.
Don't let my Taylor
Dane.
Dane.
Yeah, what the hell?
Tell it to my heart.
No, I did that because I once saw her throw up on the balcony.
I can feel my body rock every time you call my name.
Improve
the way
your
you sing
love.
it, I don't know why nobody would like you.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you sold me, Robert. Now I'm going to love it.
Yes.
I once saw her throw up off a balcony in New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm sad that I didn't get to see it.
Yeah. Oh, it was lovely. Classy lady.
Sure it was.
Robert Plant released his third solo album, Now and Zen. I
forgot to mention that, yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. That is a huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Awful.
Very
Absolutely
synthy.
awful.
A lot of synths.
Very synthy.
Oh.
And that
synthy.
Tall Cool One song where he samples like
Awful.
Led Zeppelin, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but I'm not going to play Led Zeppelin in concert. But here, I'm going to sample it on my record.
Right.
Fuck that. No, that was awful. Absolutely horrendous. I don't care what. And it's awful. Cheap Trick. Boy, I love Cheap Trick. You guys know that, but man, that Don't Be Cruel is garbage. And that album also had The Flame on it too, which was a huge hit. Huge hit.
I'd rather hear at least The Flame is their own song.
But it's
Second
not
song is
good.
Cruel, bad, really
Yeah.
bad.
Lap
Keith
of
Richards'
Luxury.
Talk is Cheap. Was that Lap of Luxury?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Talk is Cheap. It's okay. Maybe it shouldn't be on my bottom, but it's definitely not going to be on one of my tops. Roll with It. Fucking Steve Winwood. I hate Steve Winwood's 80s shit. I think the album before that, Back in the High Life, was garbage.
I
Roll with
like
it.
Ark of a
Awful.
Diver, but you know, I
I like the
Diver
remix
was
of
tolerable.
Valerie. I thought that was pretty good.
And that's really all I got. But and Paula Abdul. Blech.
No.
Yeah, I'm not.
Paul Abdul, man. Well, I like the dance mixes. I love.
I like the
dance
single
mixes.
version of Cold Hearted where she raps. That's not on the album though.
Cold
It's
hearted.
just got the album version. And Straight Up reminds me of Driver's Ed, so that's always going to have a special place.
Oh.
Oh.
Love me.
My love is for real.
Did you?
Oh, My Love is for Real. That's a great song.
I don't think that's on there.
That's
is it?
later.
It's later.
No, that's like 90s Paula Abdul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
My
already
Love
know
is
that
for Real.
nonsense.
It was like the last thing she did, I think.
I'm forever your girl. I can't stand that opposite the track song. That's the worst.
Oh, with Scat Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't
that
like
video.
cigarettes. I like to smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
We come together.
Okay, so that's our tops and bottoms of
Hey.
1988. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What are your tops and bottoms? Let us know in the comments section. Is that Bob Dylan album really the worst one he's ever put out? That's a question to answer. What about Jimmy Buffett's Hot Water? No one brought that up. The Real
Because no one's gonna
Roxanne.
bring up
They were continuing the Roxanne feud. Let's see some other stuff that nobody talked about. Judas Priest, Ram It Down. That was kind of there. Blue Oyster Cult, Imaginos, Savage Amusement from the Scorpions. All just like I was talking about before, just phoned in albums that a lot of people don't remember. I discovered Skinny Puppy. I'd never heard them before. Heard their name mentioned a lot, but finally got to hear them. Not what I thought they were at all. So there's that.
Did you like them?
No. I did not care for
Jesus Lizard was about that time too, weren't they?
Yeah, the grunge stuff really started. The seeds of that were, like with the Soundgarden, Ultra Mega OK, and Green River, and all that kind of stuff was just starting to kind of rear its head. The legendary Pink Dots, Screaming Trees, that was another kind of early grunge thing. Naked Raygun, No Means No, Prong, KMFDM. Why can't Tori Reed? I thought that was an interesting thing from '88 too. With Tori Amos doing a rock thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And,
So what's
I
our
forgot
next
about that
year?
too.
yeah. Fate's Warning, Bullet Boys, Thomas Dolby, Social Distortion.
Oh, Buick's ate my, or Aliens ate my Buick. Was that
Divine
year, right?
had an
Yeah,
album. I
got the
didn't get to
Social
hear it though.
Distortion record from
Didn't have
88.
time to hear the Divine album made in England. I'm gonna have to check that out at one point and see what See what that sounds like. But thank you so much for watching.
So
Like I
wait,
said,
wait.
Well, what about
What's our next year?
that's what I was going to say. Thank you so much for watching. Coming up, we're going to do
Oh,
the top 5 albums of Blondie, or not Blondie, the Pretenders.
Blondie.
We'll all have our.
I mean,
picks
our
for
next
that.
year.
Yeah, he's getting there.
We'll also review the album from. Mike, I can't remember who they are now. The Residents? No, the Refreshments.
Cardigans.
No, the Cardigans.
Cardigans.
The Cardigans.
It's called Gran Turismo, and we'll also review the albums and tops and bottoms of 1968. So that'll be all.
Refreshments.
Wow, that'll be.
I don't remember ever drawing it out of a hat.
Yeah, we're not doing that shit anymore.
Here, I did.
Wow.
There you go. I did draw it.
It was off camera.
Yeah, it was off camera. And y'all forgot.
Because we got to. I
Probably.
think it's better to give people time to let them know
Yeah,
what's coming
no,
up, so they can check out some albums from. Because 1968. Wow, that's
That's going
have
to
to
be a
start
tough
listening
one
to
to
that music
narrow
now.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So join us for all of that. Don't forget to leave a comment about your tops and bottoms of 1988.
Yeah.
Be sure to
Do
tell
it.
us how we're awful because we forgot that one album from, I don't even know, All or whatever.
And I'm not drinking Bud Light, so don't tell me how awful I am.
Yes. Okay, that'll do it. Well, we are the Vinyl Community Guncles. I'm Robert Fithen.
And I'm Richard at Calvin Wazoo.
And I'm Craig at my vinyl plethora. Yeah.
Mike at
That's me.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm the guy that everybody yawned when he was talking. That's who
I yawned for Mike and Richard because I'm really freaking tired. So it wasn't just
was
you,
up
but I
at
did yawn
4:30
for you
this
more.
morning.
Please join us again next time. Thank you so much for watching.